dink 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 din ta dink dink ta dink 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 tergada dink din ta tergada dink 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 din ta dink din tergada dink 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 din da tergada tittaridina kittir nakatari kitataka kit takku dinna tattittaridina kittir nakatari kitataka kit takku dinna tatakit takku dinna tattittaridina nakatari kit takku dinna tatakit takku dinna tatakita tinki ta tum ta di ki ta tu tadikitaku ta dim tadikitaku ta dim tadikitaku ta.
क्या बात है guys, give it up for Varun the Groove Rajasekharan. I think हमको इधर देखना है, as rightly pointed out by Shrey, but this is the revisit reviews and मेरे को एकदम से ना epiglottis में थोड़ा scene हो गया था, but nonetheless one of my favorite musicians and also my best friend from yesteryears and currently as well. इसके stock price आगे नीचे होता रहता. But give it up for Varun Rajasekharan, guys. And Varun, I think oldest members of the band. Please, for those of you who do not know us, explain first of all yourself and then explain the entire camaraderie.
First of all, I'd like to say that hearing the phrase revisit reviews brings tears to my eyes because it's been so long.
It is.
It's been incredibly long. It's been a while since we've done that. So it feels good. And Abhay started this band, it's been 8 years ago. And I joined after like 2 months after it started. And it's been a very enriching experience over these years. And we've done different kinds of, all kinds of things. And we've had our highs and our lows. But we are here and we are here to make more music. And I'm just glad to say that there's another album coming on the way.
Absolutely.
And I'm really proud of it. So yeah.
हाँ, fourth.
Yeah.
But तू यार ये बता मेरे को कि I met you in college, है ना? And then I also sat down to get my lesson from you as well because you're Carnatic music में trained है तू.
Yeah.
तो आप अब ये बताइए कि how did that journey happen? Like when did it all begin?
So I think I was 7-8 years old at 2000. Yeah, I think around that time. And so my community, Tamil Brahmins, we have this tradition of like getting the kid to join some kind of extracurricular activity, whether it be dance, singing or anything. And my mom saw me play all these tables and bartan and whatnot when I was a kid. And she's like, "Acha, ab isko
Shiv Mani." नहीं, Mani of Shiv.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
संधि विच्छेद भाई हमारे. But she's like, अच्छा इसको मृदंगम join कराओ because that is the foremost Carnatic rhythm instrument and it's the primary instrument that's played in Carnatic classical music. So I joined that and there's this place in R.K. Puram, South Delhi called Delhi Tamil Sangam, which is like a confluence of all क्या बोलते हैं, it's a meeting point for all Tamilians in the city. And
जहाँ का खाना भी बहुत tasty है apparently.
Khana is good, yeah. Khana used to be good. ठीक है, well let's not talk about that right now.
Karnataka Bhavan is winning.
वो अलग है.
अच्छा वो अलग है.
उससे आगे है, मोती बाग में. But सब पास में ही है सारा.
हाँ.
But my क्या बोलते हैं बड़े गुरुजी कलेमामनी श्री प्रेम कुमार, he was kind enough to start teaching me. And I was left-handed, but he's like कि तुम right से ही बजाओगे because I don't know the reason.
Because you will. Indian.
So I write with my left, but I lead my leading hand
ambidextrous.
on the instrument.
Sachin Tendulkar.
But yeah, बजाता right. So and तो कर्नाटिक ऐसे शुरू हुआ, but I was obviously not really interested in Carnatic music per se. I was just going to classes because it was a thing that I was supposed to do on weekends. My father used to generally take me into the classes and we used to chill and come back. And it was a good experience, but I did not think of music as a conscious thing at that time. So
music is a conscious being.
But then I came in 11th, 12th. फिर जब कॉलेज में आया फिर थोड़ा लगा कि एक्चुअली 12th में ही लग रहा था कि अच्छा पढ़ाई तो होनी नहीं है
कि लग गए
लाइफ में. बट वो इसीलिए लगे क्योंकि आई यूज्ड टू बी इन माय म्यूजिक रूम ऑल द टाइम व्हेन आई वाज इन स्कूल. आई मीन 12th तो मैंने बहुत कम अटेंड किया है. आई यूज्ड टू ओनली गो फॉर इकोनॉमिक्स एंड मैथमेटिक्स बिकॉज वो समझ नहीं आता था मेरे. बट उसमें जाता था एंड बाकी पूरे दिन आई यूज्ड टू बी इन द म्यूजिक रूम एंड जस्ट प्लेइंग द तबला और मृदंगम और व्हाट नॉट एनी काइंड ऑफ परकशन इंस्ट्रूमेंट.
This is Gyan Bharti.
This is Gyan Bharti school. Yeah, Saket.
Great cricket ground as well.
Oh, very good. Yeah, first ground to have floodlights. My first school ground.
बहुत मैं बहुत हारा हूँ वहाँ पे.
Our team used to be really good.
बहुत अच्छी टीम थी.
बट हाँ तब तक मेरा भी वही क्रिकेट फुटबॉल का शौक था. आई वाज इन द स्कूल टीम एंड ऑल. बट वही पता चल गया था फिटनेस तो है नहीं इतनी. तो यहाँ पेट ही इतना बड़ा है. सो दिस इज नॉट द फ्यूचर एंड आई रियली लव स्पोर्ट्स. अभी आपको कोई पता ही है मतलब हम स्पोर्ट्स बहुत ज़्यादा डिस्कस करते हैं देखते हैं. बट फिर कॉलेज में आके ये हुआ कि मेरे को घटम में बहुत ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट आ गया बिकॉज आई स्टार्टेड लिसनिंग टू शक्ति व्हेन आई वाज इन 12th एंड या सो जॉन मैक्लॉफ्लिन एंड विक्कू विनायकराम सर ऑन द घटम दैट जस्ट made me go crazy. And that was my Carnatic background and that's my Carnatic background and that was a real foray into Carnatic music and playing a Carnatic instrument.
But throughout all of these years you were also listening to Floyd, you were also listening to Deep Purple. तेरा Led Zepp वाला भी phase
था. Yeah, this was in basically जब मैं 10th में आया था मैं मतलब बहुत लेट सुनना शुरू किया. If you compare to my other classmates and all, बहुत लेट सुनना शुरू किया. But I started with the Beatles, but gradually वो fade out हो गया and I started listening to Floyd. ठीक है, Beatles great though. But then Floyd was my कैसे बोलते हैं ना awakening. मतलब मैं पागल था एक साल सिर्फ.
The lunatic is in your head.
Yeah, exactly. It still is. And मतलब मैं म्यूजिक कर रहा हूँ अभी तक पैंडेमिक के बाद भी.
The lunatic lives on.
The lunatic lives on. But हाँ,
the lunatic is in your bed now. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, you're playing Wordle here. But अपना क्या सीन था कि yeah, I started listening to all this music and I consider myself lucky because I liked this music because otherwise I think I would have been not stuck but very limited in my approach towards playing also. So listening to all these bands and this guy made me listen to I remember Weather Report. I mean technically Nishan did but he made me actually listen to all the music and Yellow Jackets. These two bands he made me listen to and that's why I got into like listening to a lot of other stuff also. I think that's helped me a lot.
So now going from Carnatic to something like a jazz fusion or funk जहाँ तूने congas वगैरह शुरू किए तो वो जो उसका जो point of view है कि उसमें पहले तो switch कैसे किया and also is there like a stepping stone to that which worked in your favor because तेरा Carnatic वाला influence था. So go for it.
So the thing is that I think for around 1.5-2 years in between, see, I joined the band and we were playing revisits and we were gradually going into playing funk music. I mean, Abhay, when we started revisit, we used to play these two tunes Abhay had composed back in 2012, 2013. उसको हम mutton song बुलाते थे, which was Rough and Straight.
I think Rough and Straight का intro.
And there was another tune.
कुछ एक और कुछ था.
One more. And he was interested in funk and we gradually, the band also started playing funk. But the thing is that I was not really playing funk because I had never experienced it. I had never heard it. I had never internalized it. So मतलब my approach and my playing and even my touch on a Western instrument like a conga, because conga is the main percussion instrument when it comes to funk, apart from the drums obviously. So mera touch bhi, it was very Carnatic. My approach, my thinking was very Carnatic, and that was not, so that meant that a funk sensibility was not being able to be like able to translate on the instrument. And I realized this gradually कि मतलब मेरे को समझ आया कि मैं क्या नहीं कर रहा हूँ और मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ. So I first started listening to all these funk artists, and I think for my playing per se, Tara Par has been my biggest influence. I mean, I remember playing to What Is Hip and Soul Vaccination for hours and hours because I just had to get my touch right, and I had to change my approach. So I started finding pockets. I started listening to a lot of other artists also, James Brown, Tar of Par,
Meters बहुत सुना तूने.
हाँ मतलब and अपना क्या बोलते हैं Funkadelic Parliament Funkadelic. He made me listen to Mothership Connection, the third album, नहीं first second album थी उनकी. So that actually got me to understand that what I'm not doing and what I'm supposed to do. And that gradually translated into me actually getting things right on my instrument. So I had to like unlearn a lot of things. I had to unlearn a lot of things I was doing, unlearn my approach, and just completely change my ways. But that being said, that obviously that transition was not very smooth. But once it happened, I really started feeling it, and it really started happening. But I always use my Carnatic sensibilities because it's right there in my head, so it just naturally translates into my instrument also. I mean, one example is this song from the forthcoming album, Broker. मतलब वो पूरा नाम अभी है नहीं, but so that's a funk instrumental, and I have played this groove in that. So basically Aditya is playing this like this दो बार snare जो कर रहा है तो वहाँ से मेरे को एक आइडिया आया कि दैट आई हैव टू क्रिएट दिस ग्रूव विच इज़ ऑब्वियसली इन पॉकेट विद द बेस एंड हिज ग्रूव. बट वो नेचुरली ऐसा भी आया, इट केम लाइक that I have to do something Carnatic in this also. So my groove, my conga groove with this drum groove goes like that tum part is the melodic part, and the Carnatic thing here is that everything I do, everything I think, my way of thinking is very mathematical. It's very arithmetic. I mean, and geometric also in my approach. So the gap between like tum tum, it's 3, then it goes to 2, then it goes to tum tum. There's a 3 ka gap here. Tum tum. यहाँ पे 2 का gap. Tum. इसमें 1 का gap. So it's also like cascading. हाँ, ended on the sum also, and cascading भी आ रहा है. There's a progression to it. There's a mathematical progression to it, and it fits with the funk narrative also. That's what I think. I mean, that's what the band also felt. So these things naturally seep into each other. तो ये सीन है.
It's like a thali at a wedding.
And conversely,
दाल और पनीर साथ.
नहीं समझ गया. But conversely, another thing which really helped me is funk music in playing Carnatic music, because so Carnatic music is based on a call वाला response. क्या बोलते हैं उसे?
Call and response
mechanism.
So blues music का जो backbone है.
Yeah. So Hindustani's music is more about keeping the rhythm and keeping the theka's groove basically. तो Carnatic में होता है, you listen to the verse because there are songs and you respond to them, and that's how generally people play. But funk taught me that like coming on the one and keeping the groove is very important, and sometimes you need to keep the aesthetic alive, and which means you should not respond to everything that's going on. If the singer or the other instrumentalist is not doing anything, you still keep the groove and hold the bed for them. So making the bed is something I learned with these musicians. I mean, from him especially, with drummers like Abhijit Sood and Aditya का तो बहुत अच्छा बनता है because he's also such a talented drummer. So we understand each other very well, and I just understood over these last 1.5 years that keeping the groove is so damn important when it comes to music, and you should not do your own thing everywhere. There should be just very small pockets of improvisations, small pockets of creating that magic bit. It'll only be magic if it's done sparingly. It should not be done in every other bar, so as to say.
हाँ, वो बहुत लोग करते हैं हम लोग.
बहुत लोग करते हैं.
I think that is something that we all as a society need to unlearn. But that also comes from the fact that we're all from Delhi. We're flashy.
Yeah.
And I mean,
there's a Delhi thing to it for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
भाई तू है तो मैं भी हूँ वाला सीन है.
You know, we speak like that, so we play like all the so we can hear that in the soloist as well. Like,
exactly.
If you're from North Delhi तो दिखता है
नहीं हर जगह दिल्ली से ही.
Get that in the playing as well.
But वही पिछले 2 सालों में, in the last 2 years, I mean, this guy has been sending recordings every day, and I also do it from time to time.
I don't practice as much.
No, he practices a lot. But what we've done is that we've tried to control ourselves as musicians, and because we obviously couldn't play together because of the pandemic. But I think I can speak for myself, and I think for him also, that we actually work towards restraining ourselves while playing.
And तो प्रैक्टिस का वो है कि घर पे ही बजा के आओ. गिग से पहले 1.5 घंटा बजा लो, 2 घंटा, ताकि गिग पे सिर्फ 5 मिनट बजा.
हाँ, एग्जैक्टली. और मतलब वो गिग पे 60% ही बचता है वैसे भी, तो उस पर अगर हम 80% कोशिश करते तो नहीं आएगा. So what you practice at home, the entire thing, at least for me, does not translate on the stage. It's a very different experience. So
perfect, man. So just sum it up for us. Like for example, if there's a young percussionist listening to us, and there are a lot of percussion players now, and तो तू क्या बोलना चाहेगा किसी young musician को कि where do you start? Like how do you encapsulate both the Western and the Indian narrative.
Yeah.
And क्योंकि वही एक में emphasis on the one है, एक में है कि वंश को छुपाते हुए आना है जैसे हिंदुस्तानी में, और कर्नाटिक का I wouldn't know.
Actually हिंदुस्तानी में वन आता है, कर्नाटिक में वन काफी छुपता है, because Carnatic is not exactly in a very vague sense, it's also like jazz fusion, because
it might be because that's where Shakti
all comes from. Exactly,
Mahavishnu Orchestra comes from.
I mean, you respond and you one chupate ho, and then you respond to phrases.
Yes.
It's a whole phrasal kind of playing
ठीक है.
than Hindustani. But what I would like to say is that always, first of all, listen to a lot of things before you play it. I mean, you should listen to a lot of music, and even if you listen to one kind of music, listen to it very intently and try to keep, like, know the importance of one. I mean, we forget the importance of one. We try to evade it all the time, but we need to understand the pulse first of all. If we don't understand the pulse, we can't be good musicians. We can't be good percussionists. And even I have been struggling. I mean, मैं धीरे धीरे कर रहा हूँ ये. And thanks to Carnatic music, one थोड़ा आ जाता है. I'll not say it's very strong, but it's decent. So it's very important to just understand the pulse and first keep in rhythm with, keep the groove with it, and not try different things all around. So because what we try to do is play different things and we think that वहाँ पे एंड में आके जुड़ जाएंगे, पर पहले साथ चलो, बाद में जुड़ना, मतलब टूटो मत पहले. पहले साथ. I mean,
because I think we're all in that phase wherein हम लोग अभी सीख रहे हैं.
Yeah, exactly.
सीखने तो पूरी life, but अभी what you're probably emphasizing on कि जो basics हैं, कहते basics,
yeah.
Going.
I forgot the word, yeah. Basics is the word for it, yeah. That's a perfect word actually, yeah.
वही. And this is just to talk about basics as well to you guys as well, because हम लोग भी वही, I also realize that कि life में इतना आगे बढ़ गए, हमको लगता है कि age के साथ ना music भी आ जाएगा. नहीं, music अपने टाइम पर आता है. It may happen at 20, it may never happen.
It may never happen, yeah.
And that's
very true,
it's and वही, so you have to be aware कि कब. But in any case, I think that's about it. Varun, anything else that you want to talk about or add or whatever?
Nothing, man. I देखो एकदम से याद आ गया that apart from the basics, I mean, learning the right approach and the technique is very, very, very important. It's imperative. I mean, I used to play, I learned the khatam on my own because I used to be a mridangam player. I started with the mridangam. So technique was something which was not, like I was not using the right approach to the khatam. So इतने साल से बजा रहा था and I found my own techniques and I still use them sometimes. But I started learning from Girdrupa ji. He's a great khatam artist from Bangalore. And the last 2 years have been unlearning that also, because now I find I know the right approach, the right technique, and I know I'm much more fluent in the way I play now. So whenever you learn an instrument or anything, just make sure that you use the right technique and build your, like, the stepping stone should be very systematic and meticulous.
Just foundation, just नींव पे आप
हाँ कर रहे हैं. Exactly. Yeah. That's very important. I mean, that's imperative to being a musician and being just
And on that note, we'd like to end this, and this has been a wonderful session. We'll get back to sessions with Varun next month where he can discuss his music playlist as well and a lot more. And
इस podcast पे काफी कम हंसे हैं. We always keep laughing.
We're also trying to maintain a serious tone because वो life ऐसी हो गई है. Pandemic के बाद ना थोड़ा serious हो गया है क्योंकि payment नहीं आई ना.
हाँ यार.
चलो ठीक है. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.